What's up, gang? Chavio here, and I'm going to teach you all about the combat system for big time. All about the basics, all the way to the advanced tactics. Let's jump right in. Each of the 4 classes has basic attacks and finishing attacks. As soon as you use the left mouse button, you'll see the basic attack start to trigger. At any time, you can interrupt this by using the right mouse button to use a finisher. You can actually use a finisher all by itself, or you can use a combination of basic attacks and finishing attacks. You'll notice that the finishers have icons next to them. That means that they do specific things. We're still learning and discovering what those mean. You'll also notice that if you change weapons, you have different finishers. So definitely play around with all the different weapon classes, try them all out, because each one has a different set of combos and a different set of finishing attacks. At an enemy, you can run up and actually use that ability to do damage to one enemy or a couple if they're all standing together like this. See a little red bar on top of their head? That's going to be their hit points. When they run out of hit points, they are dead. Now let's talk about barrier, shielding, and armor. So you've probably noticed that your abilities and your weapons have these small diamonds underneath them. Some of those diamonds have colors to them: purple, yellow, blue, and red. Now red represents the normal health bar of all the enemy types, while the other ones represent a particular type of additional damage that is going to need to be dealt to these enemies before you're able to get them down to their standard health bar. Now you can see the enemy in front of me has a purple bar. So what I'm going to have to do is make sure that I have a weapon that does purple damage. If I don't have a weapon that does purple damage, it pretty much will not accept the majority of the damage, and you'll get a ton of missed attacks. We'll show you on this next enemy up ahead. So as I come up to these enemies, I can see, look, they have a blue bar. This one over here has actually 3 bars. He's got a purple, then a blue, then a red. So in order to be able to defeat that enemy, the first thing I need to do is take down the purple bar. Now, if I attack him with the blue weapon here that I have, you can see it's doing damage, but not a lot. Now, if I were to switch over to the purple weapon, it'll immediately clear that out. Now, if I use purple against the blue bar, again, only doing about 50 damage there. When I switch to the weapon that does blue, you see it does a much larger amount of damage. Then I get it down to his red bar, and you can insta-kill. So when you're deciding what weapons you're going to carry, you want to make sure that you can take down all the different types of shields. Now, ideally, you play in a group and other people can help you, because certain classes are stronger at breaking particular types of shields, barriers, and other ones are just outright made to take those down. And we'll show you some of those abilities later, like the Quantum Fixer. Here, we're going to take a look at both the 2 different types of weapons we have. On right now, we have a chopper. You can see it says down at the bottom, good against barrier. And you can see that it's half the diamond, meaning that it's about 50% effective against there. So you can expect about 50% of the damage that this weapon can cause will start to break down the barrier bar. And here you can see I'm fighting a large bug. He's got a purple bar. As I try to do damage with this weapon, you can see I'm really not doing too much. Now, if I switch to my weapon that has actual purple damage on it, my chopper, and I go and attack him, you'll start to see, look, 815. Immediately took down the purple bar. Now he's got the blue bar. I switch back to the weapon with the blue damage on it. Took down the blue bar. Now he's back down to red, and you can use, oh, actually, he's got a yellow bar. This guy has 3 bars. Now you can see I don't particularly have anything on my character that's great at yellow. So now what I'm forced to do is either try to use one of my abilities, if I have one that will actually work against this, and if I don't, then you'll have to go slowly. Now you can see his blue shield is filling back up. That blue shield is time related. They will fill their shield back up. The other ones don't always fill back up. So now I'm going to have to sit here and slug away at the yellow bar because I don't have a weapon for it. There are other ways you can get through these, but ideally you play with a team and your team has diversified abilities, so you can take down these guys without having to switch weapons all the time or having to wait for your abilities to cool down. Now that we've gotten him almost to the red, you'll see him start to take more damage now. Now he should be pretty easy to go ahead and finish him off, because now all of his shield, armor, and barrier is gone, and you can just tank away at him. Now you can hopefully get T. Now that you know all about the way the different bars work for shield, barrier, and armor, you can kind of start to build your characters out and make sure they have weapons and abilities that diversify against each other. So you can take a look. See, I have different abilities, and if you look, I actually have the super thrust, which does purple and yellow. So that's a great one for me to be able to use when I don't have a weapon that does yellow damage against the enemy. Now, once you get a little bit deeper into the game, you can start actually planning out how you want your ability skill tree to look like. And then you can even change it to the point where you're adding different gears to get different skills. Once you come into the skill tree, you can actually hover over the different abilities, and you can see that like this one, super thrust, it actually has all these different abilities, and it does damage against these different barrier, shield, and armor types. So you can actually try to build your class out that if you know you're particularly weak in something, you can actually, supercharge your character. All right, I switched to my Quantum Fixer Pocket Watch, one of the other classes in the game. Now, this class is not a tank, he's not AoE, and he is not really, a glass cannon or anything like that. This dude is all about support. So one of his strongest abilities is called Rend. Now, you'll notice this one doesn't have a second word next to it. It doesn't say Rend Barrier, it doesn't say Rend Shield or Rend Armor. It just says Rend, meaning it'll actually take off any of the bars at any point in time. So when you see this, this is something that I recommend every Quantum Fixer have. It's one of the best abilities. What this allows you to do is go ahead and take shields down and let your Time Warriors get in there and do tons of damage to their actual health bars. This is one of the best abilities in the game. Let's check it out. Sometimes you're going to need to take that shield off quickly. You're not going to be able to do it with your melee weapon, so you're going to want to be able to do it with one of your other abilities. Now, the Quantum Fixer is the best at this in the game. When you see a character like that you know has shield, you can just go ahead and use your Rend ability on it and pull the shield down all at once, so you don't have to sit there and do it slowly. Now, you may be asking yourself, do I really need to do this? Can I just hack and slash my way through all these different types of shield, barriers, and armors? Well, the answer is once you get into the higher level dungeons, you're going to spend an insane amount of time trying to go ahead and be able to get the enemies killed. Because pretty much all the enemies are going to have these types of barriers when you get into the high level dungeons. So in the beginning of the game, you're not going to have much problem kind of beating your way through most of the mobs. But as you evolve through the game, if you want to be able to do things efficiently, you're going to have to be able to use those abilities, understand which ones your weapons will take down and your abilities will take down, and then have your team counteract the rest of that for you. Those are the best ways to move through these dungeons quickly. You can see here, this guy right here, I can swing on him all day long, and it's just gonna miss, miss, miss. Now, if I switch to my blue weapon and I try to hit him with that, boom. You see, I almost instantly, I take down his shield. Now his shield is broken. I can switch back to the weapon that does a little bit more damage, and I can attack with that one. The last thing I want to go over is when you're kind of planning your attacks out. Now you can see I have the Whirlwind ability up top for the Time Warrior. This is his best attack, but you can see it's only good against the health bar. Now, if they have barrier, shield, or armor, you're really not going to do much damage at all to them. So if you either take down their shields on your own first, or if you have a Quantum Fixer on your team, you have him take the shields down, then you use your Whirlwind ability, you'll do 10 times more damage to everybody. That's the way the game is meant to be played, not just kind of slugging away mindlessly, but planning and being strategic about your attacks and making sure that the majority of the damage you can deal will go to whatever the shield, barrier, or armor type is, get you down to that health bar, and then allow you to clear the mob out. Guys, you are all set now. You're ready to go. Get out there, slay some mobs, earn some NFTs, and shoot me a comment when you do, because I want to know what you get. As always, be well, stay excellent, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace. I'm out here.